When Alex Jones pumped his book up, I knew that they had already got to him. He's on the MLK. Okay? Alex Jones also been chipped. If they get to where they don't want to be a part of that no more, they'll cut their chip off and they'll just start having eternal pains. Speaking of pain, Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac was killed, man. Let me just explain this. Bernie Mac sold his soul. They don't even let you see things like this until you sell your soul. So when Bernie Mac got that show, he had sold his soul. The Bernie Mac show. Then he started getting movies. But way before then, he was just doing comedian. They didn't show Bernie nothing. When Bernie started getting his feet wet, they started taking him to Pandora. But his mind was blown. But then they put him under the oath where he won't talk. You know, throw the gold up here and there. Put your hands in pyramid. That's the oath.
If I die all of a sudden, they will be penniless. I don't want nobody enjoying shit. I don't want nobody driving my boat. I don't want nobody sitting up there.
All that's just going back.
Yep.
All that's just going back.
It's a damn shame how Bernie left his people. I ain't leaving nobody nothing. I got my wheel all done. I got it on tape and everything.
Yeah, everything is good. Wheel, you on tape?
I'm not here now.
I'm not here now.
But I just want to say to all my aunts, uncle, you know, that I had a good time while here on Earth. I'm gone now. There's no funeral. I know you all pissed off about that right now. But I'm going to leave you all just what you all left me. Shit. I'm not giving. I paid all my life. I paid y'all rent, y'all condos, helped out, school tuition. I just don't want nobody banging my wife when I'm gone, sitting on my bed, wearing my robe, my jewelry, and driving my boat. Is that selfish? Is that selfish?
You're just letting it all go back.
I'm letting it go back.
Well, considering the semi-classic nature of the vehicle,
to most, he was known as Bernie Mac.
He's faded. Yeah, but it's custom.
Actor, comedian Bernard McCullough died early Saturday morning at Northwestern Memorial Hospital in Chicago. A publicist for the 50-year-old says he passed away from complications due to pneumonia. Mac also suffered from an inflammatory lung disease that had been in remission for the past 3 years. But his publicist said his death was not related to this condition. The Emmy and Golden Globe nominated actor is also known for his Fox television series, The Bernie Mac Show. His film credits include roles in the Ocean's 11 franchise. No word yet on whether public services will be held. Tim McGuire, The Associated Press.
So as Bernie started making more money, his name became a household name. They started taking Bernie to the clone lab, because there is a thing called clone lab, and they're all over. They're not just in America; they're all over the world. All right, they control them anywhere. Rich folks, they're always in places you never think they are. It's like it could be a desert, like nothing exists, and it's this one fucking pond of water or some old trees. That's usually where it's at. It's underground. They got it, man. It's just like the movies. They telling you the truth in the movies. So nevertheless, Bernie Mac was introduced to the clone lab. They take you there. They took him there. They let him see the fights. At first, he thought it was cool, you know. It was like Eyes Wide Shut. They screwing in front of you. They doing bizarre things, man. Bestiality. You going, damn, right? But the part that tripped him out, how they showed him. They literally showed him how they clone people. They take the real person and put them off to the left and make two more of you. It blew his mind. Just like they did the dogs, the fish, all of that. He was like, wait, I'm tripping. That ain't a real person. Then they start, they stab the person to make you see they bleed. They're real. And they can feel that pain. You understand? So his mind is blown. Now, he done been a couple of times, and the only time they would be willing to put you in shackles so you don't talk, if he's not bringing revenue. But Bernie Mac is funny as hell. Bernie Mac bringing a lot of money, so they say, well, go on, let him make movies. He ain't gonna say nothing. He know what's good for him, and who's gonna believe him anyway, right? So this was heavy on Bernie, very heavy on him, but they already had him chipped. Once they take you to the clone lab, you have to get chipped. Steve Harvey is chipped, Oprah's chipped, D.L. Hughley is chipped, Said Entertainers. That's why they don't say nothing. And this is what happened to Bernie. When Bernie started to have these conversations, they can hear everything he's saying, so they made him go into pain more. So they can put your body in pain. He said, I'm hurting. So Bernie had a talk with Steve Harvey, D.L. Hughley, and Said Entertainer, because he believed he could talk to them. He's like, man, we got to tell somebody about this shit, man. Cloning people? They advised him, hey, man, this shit been going on since the 40s. We're going to make our money. Steve Harvey, big lip ass, right? So Bernie was really adamant about it. It was heavy on his head. So Bernie did the King. They let him do that tour. He came back. He still was cool. But shortly thereafter, he did a movie with, I believe, with Samuel Jackson. I ain't for sure. And he was still good. But shortly after that movie got done, he kept bringing it up. So Steve goes and rat him out. Well, they knew what he was saying, but Steve was like, he's becoming a problem. So they hold a meeting without Bernie.
Bernie Mac always said he walked alone. I don't think he was walking alone at all. I think Bernie was walking with Jesus the whole time. I just hope Jesus. But now he's walking with Jesus. I want to tell Mac I'll see you soon, man. Well, no, I don't mean soon. I'll just see you.
And they asked D.L. Hughley the same things. Hey, what is he saying? He's saying that we gotta expose this. Okay. They amped his chip up because the chip controls every vital sign in your body. Bernie got real sick, went to the hospital. And they knew what was going on. Steve Harvey knew, D.L. Hughley knew, Sid the Entertainer knew that they ratted him out, and he knew that death was coming. They knew death was coming. Bernie wasn't assured at the present time, but when he started getting real sick, he said, these motherfuckers doing this to me. But Bernie did tell his wife what was going on, and she's been scared shitless ever since. And they didn't want him to tell her too much, so they turned it all the way up and killed him while he was in the hospital.
They remember him and love him the way they do. Thank you all so much.
We got something else to show.
And they didn't have to be there. They did it by remote control. That's how cloning works, and that's how the chip works. It works by remote. So somebody could have been acting like a janitor or acting like they dare to see their loved one, could have been sitting in a weight room and hit the remote to turn his chip up to send him to fatal, which is death. That's how Bernie Mac left here. Being ratted out by Steve and DL. All them niggas so fake, man. If I come to you because we just did the King's Economy, I feel like I can talk to you because Bernie wasn't kissing Steve's ass. All of them niggas kissed Steve's ass. So Bernie have a man-to-man say, man, you think that shit right? Look, man, this is Steve. Look, man, whatever they doing, we ain't got nothing to do with that. Like my mama always say, mind your business. And all of them co-signing, DL and Said the Entertainer, yeah, Steve right, man, Steve right. And here go DL Hughley. I understand what you're saying, Bernie, but at the same time, man, they've been doing this shit since the 40s. For us to put our nose in that, man, we gotta check. We gotta feed our family. All that type of shit. Beware of a nigga that always get that hot, alto voice. That's a nigga you don't want to trust. But Bernie, it was weighing on him because they kept inviting him back to the clone lab. He kept literally seeing people die before his eyes. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, rent the movie Hostel. It may be kind of hard to find, but you probably can see it for free on the internet. Just Google Hostel. And everything that you see in that movie is what they do in the clone lab. And he was watching this. He was like, man, this is crazy. Right? Whitney Houston, she also had to pass away because she got tired. She didn't want to do it no more. She was chipped. All they did is cut her chip off. And they put her face down in the water. Bobby Christina was chipped too. They killed her the same way. Now, to let us know that Bobby Christina's death was not an accident, but it was a ritual, they took Bobby Christina out the damn Hertz or whatever the damn car was, right? And they got ready to wheel her body into the morgue or whatever. It was a church. I don't know where exactly the place was, but to let us know that it was an actual ritual, they had 2 Egyptian unks out there. I don't know if y'all peep game. They did the same thing with Whitney Houston. Now, you telling me that this was an accident, and now they're saying it's a boyfriend that did it? No, he's a fall guy. And by the way, they already done shot him up with some MLK. He's totally submissive. Have y'all been hearing about these doctors? The doctor that found the cure for cancer, the doctor that's found the cure for measles and all these other MMR. Yeah, they found a cure for MMR because it's man-made anyway. The doctors, they've been killing them. Why are they killing these doctors? Number one, the doctors don't want to be a part of this cloning. They didn't want to be a part of not telling the public that there's a cure for cancer. They found a cure, man, for cancer. One of the doctors got ready to reveal it. They killed him before he could do it. They found a cure for MMR. They give kids autism. Did y'all know this? And they've been killing these doctors one by one. And all of these doctors didn't want nothing to do with the cloning lab. They was totally against it. They all got ready to speak on it. And they pretty much killed them off because a lot of doctors that are high-end have been chipped. A lot of these doctors that's been getting killed, they have the chip in them. The MLK is nothing but cloning. And they got the chip in the back of their neck or their forehead, whatever. And when they get out of pocket, and they don't do what they're supposed to do, they cut their chip off and they die of a heart attack, aneurysm, however you say that word, or some type of craziness that they can blame it on anything. A lot of y'all want to say, well, did Pimp C get cloned? No, Pimp C was killed. He didn't want to clone him. They don't want it. They didn't like him no way. So, no. Elvis Presley didn't die in that casket. Elvis Presley was under a drug of hypnotic that paralyzed his body for, 4 to 6 hours. And he was removed and lived underground. Okay? Like Adolf Hitler, they cloned that. Adolf Hitler never died. He died in Brazil of old age. Steve Jobs didn't die when they said he died. They cloned him. Steve Jobs was last seen in 2014 in Brazil. Still kind of sick because they can't stop the sickness. But he was still alive. Yes, they cloned Steve Jobs. They cloned Microsoft man, Bill Gates. All them guys been cloned. So a lot of times, that's not necessarily the real Bill Gates. The real Bill Gates, they working his brain to death in a lab. He ain't came up yet. He's underground. See, when they put you under these deep hypnosis, you don't even be submissive. You just do what they tell you. Oprah Winfrey is under MLK, and that's not the real Oprah. That's not the real Lenny Kravitz. Now, Chris Brown hasn't been cloned, but since he's been talking so much, they're going to clone him. And I believe they clone him when he's in the Philippines. But we'll see. Because Chris Brown is so outspoken, he may just tell it like it is if he can get in his right mind. But when Chris Brown was in the Philippines, they might have cloned him. Now, who is Chris Brown's handler to get him cloned and chipped? Rihanna. Now, notice that Chris right now when they start putting people around you every other day, that's not Chris Brown. That's a reptile in Chris Brown that's controlling him. In other words, that's a demigod, that's a demon of alien descent, but it's really reptilia, which is like a lizard, but they have to live in human format. And we'll know, how do you know that Chris is a clone? Because he's going to have somebody with him 24/7. He can't be alone. Whenever a celebrity has to have somebody living with them, that's because the clone can't work by itself. It has to have somebody with them. And what struck me really weird when Rihanna said that she wants to be at Chris Brown's hearing when he gets ready to do his child support. I thought that was kind of weird. Rihanna is Chris Brown's handler. And she's been told that this is not real Chris Brown. This is going to be his who? Cloning. 85% of the people in America do not watch TV no more. They don't. Everybody's online now. So they try to bring regular TV onto YouTube and make you pay for that shit and kick the creators to the curb. Now, having said that, there are certain creators they're going to handpick to be a part of this phenomenon, and they're going to think they're being blessed, but they're not. They're going to get them to sell their soul too. So if you're a creator on YouTube, you're going to get handpicked. They know who they want. But guess what? They don't want no independent journalists. They don't want no real news. They don't want nothing like what I do. They want people who they want people who follow orders and tell it like they want them to tell it. They want to keep you in suspense and bullshit. And they're going to pump the LGBT community. They're going to pump transgenders community. They have channels for that. And they want to defeminize men. And they want to make women masculine. So this is the type of shit that YouTube is going to. So you see that I was ahead of the game when I told y'all 7 stages needed, because real shit ain't going to be seen no more. When YouTube make this final, Facebook gonna join suit. They ain't gonna have it where y'all can talk real shit. So if you don't have a network, how you gonna get the information out?